All right, AP Computer Science students, the time is now. You got your AP test on Wednesday. I decided to make a quick video for you because some of you were needing a little bit more assistance. I want to go over some quick tips on what to cover when you're going to study for these things, especially if you're hesitant or a little bit struggling on particular aspects on the AP exam. Okay, first thing first, MCQ tips. Use your process of elimination when you go through these things. You've probably done this before, but always look for questions that are obviously going to have answer choices that are outliers. When I say outliers, it means the answer choice doesn't fit the pattern of all the other answer choices. That's a strong indicator that it's not potentially the correct answer. Okay, just if it's sitting out there. There's too many examples to go through. I don't really have any on here pulled up on my computer. I guess I could, but let's not, because everyone I'll make this video quick and simple. And you can look up, other people have tons of examples of using process elimination. And you should know this by now. You're a sophomore, or a junior, or a senior in high school. It's a little late in the game to start teaching process of elimination. I'll also look for groups of answer selections that are close. You know, that's usually an indicator that the answer choice is right around there, because whenever we make these questions, we want the answer choices to be as close as possible, so there's only one little minor difference in what's right and what's wrong. So that way it makes it a little bit more difficult, and it eliminates the possibility of being able just to find the answer quickly. So you want the correct answer sandwiched and buried with, if there's probably going to be at least three of them that are very closely related to each other. Let's see if I can pull up an example here. I got the. Let's find it. I'm on the College Board site right here. I'm trying to see if there's a quick example I can show. Let's just look at this one right here. Okay. So I'm looking at this one, the int value of 9, the leftmost digit of num, the rightmost digit of num. I'm not even reading the question. I'm just going to do process of elimination. Those two, B and C, look really close to one another because you're using left and right. It's got the same terminology, same number of sequence of characters inside the answer choice. That tells me these two are designed to be tricky right here. The number of digits in num, it's kind of lined up with these three. And then we have E, the result of integer division of num by 10. If you look at this one, it's longer than everything else. This A is shorter than everything else. I'm going to guess that it's going to be B, C, or D. I haven't even read the question. I don't even freaking know what it is. Okay, now choose this, and let's see if I'm right or wrong. It's B, okay? Just based on that process elimination. So I could tell just by looking at these, they didn't fit the pattern. Let's see if there's another one over here. Okay, it automatically selected. Now this one's a good one because it kind of breaks the rule, which means you still got to know this stuff. You can't exactly just pick out which one's which. But A is obviously shorter, E is longer, B, C, and D, they're kind of in the same ballpark. But you could also say A and B are close to one another because they're both a little bit shorter. C and D can be grouped because of their similar size, and E is an obvious outlier. It's the largest one of all three. So A and B are somewhat related, C and D close to another, E obvious outlier. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's always going to work. Let's look at one more. Okay, here's a good one. So you got 4 answer choices. They're all exactly the same. Okay, you can immediately say you don't even know what you're doing. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm just trying to guess. So E obviously doesn't fit the pattern, because if E was a correct answer choice, I guarantee you they'd have 2 or 3 more that look just like E with some different terminology here. And if you see this right down here on C, it's a low high 1. This one's low high. It's just basically giving you all the different patterns of the combinations of the numbers. I'm assuming are going to come through this reiteration right here. So again, it's not going to be a perfect science, but it's going to help you in a desperate situation. Let's look at another one. This one, again, is a little bit different, but still similar. And you can see right here, 10 is an obvious outlier. The number's so much greater than everything else. 4 is the least value. And 5, 6, and 7, again, they kind of grouped them in a chunk right there. But 10 is obviously not it because it sits outside of the actual arithmetic sequence of the values, because it's going 4, 5, 6, 7, whereas 8 and 9. If they put 8 right here, then this one would blow all the rules out of the water, but they didn't. So that kind of gives you an idea. Now, it could be 4, so don't think that just because this is on the lowest end of the spectrum of the answer choices, that it's not going to be possible. Let's check out another one. Let's see if our pattern holds up. All right, so again, same kind of sequence pattern that you saw from number 9 right here. Number 10, 8, obvious outlier. 1, 2, 3, 4 fits the pattern, the arithmetic sequence pattern for answer choices. 4 is the end of that spectrum because it's the 4th value out of 4, and 1's the beginning. Like I said, told you on the last question, it's like it could be on the end of that sandwich of the groups of choices. Let's remove the answer choices. Let's go back to the MCQs. Let's just look at one right here with some, come on, stupid College Board site. I'm telling you what, when we need it most, it doesn't work. Let's try refreshing our browser. Okay, this isn't working. I don't want to sit here and bore you to death with waiting for the College Board website. Well, I'm gonna make you sit here anyways. Okay, let's look at this one right here. Number 1. Let's say we've got 5 answer choices. They all seem to be similar in design, but let's look a little bit closer here. We got to print out on the first, print out second, print out is third. So these 3 all group with each other. These 2 group with each other. Okay. Right here we got a division, modulus, division. I'm just looking at this. I'm guessing that it's going to be division. Then I'm going to further guess right here that's going to be C, D, or E. And I'm going to further guess that it's going to be C or E because they both have division, as the latter don't. But this one also has modulus, division. It's kind of hard to say, but this one has division, modulus. I'm going to say it's going to be C or D. Let's see what happens. And it's D, okay? So I was wrong, but I did say that it's going to be C, D, or E. I took a guess that's going to be those 2 because of the division right here. But I could have also said that it could have been D or E because of the division on the first step right there, okay? But you see how we're kind of going through this thing? And remember, only do this if you don't know what you're freaking doing, and you got to guess. Or you're like, oh, come on, College Board. Sorry about that, y'all. But this is giving you an idea of what to expect when you go through these things. All right, let's go back to the MCQs. Let's try a couple more. Just kind of give you a feel for what's going on with these questions right here. Sorry, we got some seniors in here. They're living their dream come true inside the classroom. All right, let's go back to our presentation. College Board's not cooperating. All right, so you got an idea for what to do with this process of elimination. Also, next tip, answer every question. Don't leave anything blank. That's stupid, okay? Don't be stupid. Answer every question. If you don't know the answer, use that process of elimination I showed you and go through and try to find out what would be the correct answer choice, okay? Be smart about this stuff, all right? Hey, if you can't answer a question easily, go to the next one. Go through these things. Answer the ones that are the easiest for you to answer, okay? Depending on your skill set, how much you practice, how much hard work you put into this, okay? It doesn't matter who you are or anything like that. What matters is how much time and effort you put into it between now and the actual test time, okay? I've seen students that are great programmers. They don't get 4s and 5s because they don't put the effort in to learn the test. The test is a totally different animal than knowing how to program. All right, so if you don't know the answer choice, move on to the next one, okay? Answer all the ones that you can get that are easy. It's called low-lying fruit. Then go back and answer the ones that are a little bit more difficult. If you can't figure it out, you're hitting a roadblock, then you start really digging on that process of elimination, okay? That will help you out. But if you know the code and how to read the code, that's going to speed up, that's going to ensure the process. Right here, if you're short on time with studying and you need to skip some sections, I would skip the recursion. And the reason is because recursion, you'll probably have 1 to 2 questions. 1 to 2 questions. Okay, if there's 3 questions, I'll be shocked. Okay, I'm willing to bet there's probably 1 or 2. Those Boolean questions, the ones where they have all the Boolean variables, Unit 3, I gave you a whole assessment on that one for practice. That was actually great. But it's in Canvas. Go look at that again. But those Boolean questions where it has like all the different comparison operators and conditional statements all bundled into one, and it tells you what would be the equivalent of those, you might see 2 or 3 of those. Guaranteed 2, maybe 3. But still, right there, if you didn't study recursion, didn't study Boolean, you're looking at potential 5 questions that you probably can't answer because of your skill set. You didn't have time to prepare because you got a lot of other AP classes. You're short on time. Just got back from a trip, whatever it is. All right. But there's 5 questions that you're probably not going to be potentially answered because of those particular skill sets you need. Okay, I'm encouraging you to study this. I'm not saying don't. I'm saying just in case you run out of time. All right, so skip those sections. There's 5 questions. Use your process of elimination I just showed you to go through and potentially get the right answer. Who knows? You might get lucky. Okay, but you increase your odds if you do that. Question links. Those are a big tip right here. I'm not going to work through questions, but let me paint a picture for you. These exams are designed around time. And we'll throw a calculator up here for you. All right, so there's 40 minutes. No, excuse me. There's 90 minutes in the test, right? You got 40 questions. So 90 divided by 40 is going to be 2.25 minutes per question. All right. So you're basically going to have about just scratch over 2 minutes to answer each question. You have to think. They make this exam with purpose. Okay. This is College Board. This isn't me or what we supposed advanced CS3 students making test questions. That's what I'm talking trash about. Yeah. Can we turn down the temperature? Hey man, I'm making a video. Yeah. You're getting your temperature's rising because the Riz King's showing up. Riz King, May 3rd. The Riz King live. Don't miss it. All right, back to the video. So, what were we talking about? All right, anyhow, the question links. Okay, so you got about 2 minutes per question, right? College Board, they designed these questions specifically around these parameters of time, okay? And this is how you need to think about this, okay? The shorter the length of the text you have to read in the question means that you would have more of an actual process you have to figure out. For example, like in this recursion question right here, the code's about I'd say it's a low level amount of code for this particular question, which would tell me that you're probably going to have to do a lot more calculation on the backside, which means you have to actually work through the problem and kind of map it out. It's not going to be as easy as an answer to figure out. So the longer the text in the question should tell you that the shorter amount of time it takes to answer the question, okay? Because it's requiring you to read more time. They're not going to make a question that exceeds that boundary of 2 minutes, if that makes sense. So if there's a tremendous, let's see if I can find one. Oh, here's a great one. Look at this. See how long this question is right here? Look how big that is, okay? I mean, this is a lot of information to read for an MCQ. This tells me that the answer should be quick and easy to figure out, okay? So the longer it is to read means that it should be not requiring tons of calculations to go through and find the correct answer. If it's a shorter question, this one's kind of medium, so that one could go either way. I'm looking for an obvious short. This one's kind of medium high. That one means it should be a little bit short of an answer. This one's kind of short compared to other ones. This tells me that I'll probably be working a lot more steps to solve the answer. So less time reading, more time working. Remember that rule. Less time reading, more time working. More time reading, like you saw in this question right here. More time reading, less time working. Remember that rule. Okay, that will help you kind of approach every question to give you a better shot to go through and answer these things. Let's see what else. And that does work, okay? Anytime. People that hire me to tutor them in AP Computer Science students, they all get 4s and 5s because they follow that rule, okay? But I have a lot more time with one-on-one with them than I do with large classes. So here's the video. Let's see. Do recursion and loops. Recursion and loops. Hey. Y'all keep it down, man. I know you're excited about the Riz King. Chill out. All right. So the recursion and loop questions. Rule of 4. All right, you know how recursion works. I'm not going to work recursion problems. If you don't know how recursion works, if you don't know how loops work, good luck. Anyhow, but rule 4, you should have your answer choice come to you, say in like in iterations. All right. So if we have 3 iterations through recursion or 3 iterations through a loop, your answer should start becoming obvious in the 3rd iteration. You should see it on the 4th iteration. If you go beyond 4, you better see it on the 5th. Okay. If you don't see it on the 5th, you've done it wrong. You better start back over. Okay. So remember, you should see it at 3. If you don't see it at 3, it's potentially at 4. If it's not at 4, red flags are coming up. You might want to try one more, see if it comes on the 5th, or you can just kind of use your instincts to determine that you're like, hey, this is way off. I can tell that's not going to come to the correct solution. That means you need to stop and go reset. Remember, number 4, if you don't see it by 4, the alarm should be going off in your head that you're doing it completely wrong. Okay, that means something's not right. So remember 4, the rule of 4 on iterations for recursion and loops. That could be your for each loops, which are your enhanced for loops, your for loops, while loops, do whiles, all that kind of stuff. Let's see, FRQs. Here's the biggest way to not guarantee you can get a 4 or 5. You don't write a solution for some the FRQs, all right? Always write a solution. Try your best. Let me go through this stuff. If I was you, you're really struggling with FRQs, just memorize some of those FRQs that I've given you. You got tons of these things. Memorize the solutions, these FRQs. You come into an FRQ scenario, go into your little brain, or big brain, whatever it is, and say, hey, I had a question that was similar to this. I'm going to go through and I'm going to, I'm just going to write that solution down from the one I just memorized from the other one. And make sure you change all the variables and the method names to match that. I know that's not a good strategy, but if you don't know what you're doing, it's better than just leaving it blank, okay? So if you don't know what to do, just pull out one that you memorize, all right? It's like a tool, and adjust it as you need to with the method names and everything else. Let's see. Easy points right here. Always check for the method of the return type and make sure you return the proper variable with the return type, okay? That's an easy point. I can walk through some FRQ scoring guides here for you. I can guarantee you're going to see at least 2 to 3 to 4 out of the FRQs are all going to have a point scored for that. Matter of fact, let's do it right now. Let's go back over here. Let's look at these score guys. Oh, yeah, you need to know what the penalties are. Hey, so you know, these penalty points, they most often never get scored. Almost never, ever, ever will we assign penalty points. We only put penalty points if it's so gross and exaggerating on this code. It's the only reason why we do that. Make sure you know why you don't get penalty points. Right, back to my point about the scoring. So right here, this is the 2015. I'm just looking to see if there's a return type. Let's see, access all the elements. I'll bring that point up here in a second. But remember that when I talked about traversing your loops. Oh, look at that. Return 1D array where the kth element is compound. All right, so return the 1D array. Oh, here, returns true if all compared rows are true or false, blah, blah, blah. So you return the right value. You could screw up all this code right here, okay, and still get the point for returning the true or false, just based upon this particular aspect. You don't get the scoring guide, so don't think you can cheat that out. But you should go through and read through the question. If it's a method that has a Boolean that's being returned, you should say, okay, return true or return false or something like that. Okay, you can get the points. Let's see what else we got over here. Okay, I'm just looking through the stuff. Here's some more scoring guides. For this one, I'm just looking for the word returns. And I don't see any. Oh, that's another one. Declares appropriate private instance variables. If you look at my presentation, I have something about that in here. Oh, yep. All instance variables are private, so make sure you have those. Let's see what else. Initializes all instance variables within the constructor. Always remember to do that, okay? Even if you don't know what you're doing, just do it, all right? Let's see what's else. Access all letters in both the hidden, whatever it is, but you're accessing everything through the loop. Probably sure I had something about that. Yep, traverse the loops, the arrays properly. They're looking for index out of bounds errors. That's what they're looking for right there. So make sure you know how to control the loops so they don't have index out of bounds errors. Okay, that's going to save you a lot of time and effort. I don't say anything about returns on this one, but that doesn't mean I'm going to quit there because I guarantee I'm going to see it. Oh, look at that. Returns identified or return 0, blah, 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 blah. Because that's what the method tells you to return. Okay, that's an easy point. You could screw the whole thing up. You can just get a point right there. All right. Oh, look at this. Access all necessary elements of entries. It says no bounds error. That means it's a loop. If I go up here and look at the solution, I guarantee there's a loop around here somewhere. Oh, look at that. For me. Who would have thought? All right. So, yeah. Let's see what else. I'm looking for easy points. Easy points. Process entries with column index greater than column within loop. Okay, again, there's looping right there. I've already talked about that. Let's see, let's look for more returns, more loops. That kind of doesn't fit what I'm talking about. Declares appropriate private instance variables. Okay. Let's see. I've already had 2 returns, and that was 4 for that one. Let's see what this one says right here. Okay. Let's go to the beginning. Again, you can see the rules for the test have not changed in years. Right here, loop. Just going through the loops. Make sure it gets done correctly. I'm not caring about that. It's formula. Calling the methods. Hey, anytime they give you a method that does something, always call the method. I should put that on my slideshow. So anytime they give you a method that says, hey, use this method returns this particular value, don't worry about the code. Know that you have to use that. Always use any method they give you. That's a helper method. Okay, always use this. All right. Oh, right here. This determines the return value. Oh, right down here's our point. Returns the correctly calculated value right there. Okay. There it is. Oh, look at this one. Loops with no bounds errors. Okay. So, here's the method that they gave you. You called that method inside the loop. Okay. Those are keys right there. Okay. Remember this stuff. Watch this video over and over again if you don't pick everything up the first time you watch it. Right here, returns the value. Okay. In this particular case, is down at the very bottom. Oh, look at this. Declares all appropriate instance variables private. Okay. See what's going on here with this stuff? Don't see anything else that kind of fits what I was talking about. Let's go to the next one. Returns correct count of goods. Okay, that was part of the method. You would see that in the method question. Returns the product list with no bounds errors. Again, traversing the array. And I think that's kind of proved my point here on how to approach these things, all right? And let's see if there's one more. This is the last one. Oh, calls the method, okay? So, and this method right here. So make sure you know you're doing the methods properly. So use the methods, return the proper values, declare all instance variables, private. Make sure you put them in the constructor to get the values. Make sure you also traverse the arrays without index out of bounds errors. Let's see what else we got here. This is just easy stuff. Compare all your objects with dot equals. Any object, it's a string, if it's an animal, if it's a card, if it's a basketball, who knows what the object is, all right? Who knows what's going to be on this test? But if it's an object, it's got to be compared with dot equals. Okay, if you don't know how to use dot equals, go look it up. Primitive data types always compare these with the double equals, okay, for equality, okay, for equality, all right? Always remember for equality checks, they're going to ask you equality checks for objects and primitive data types. They want to see if you know the difference between double equals and equals right here. So make sure you know the difference between the two. And we just talked about that. All right, so that's some quick tips for those of you that are needing some extra information on to give you some confidence to go through. You can beat this exam, all right, if you follow these tips and you study. Remember, you got to work hard. This isn't going to guarantee pass, but it might tip the scales in your favor. All right, good luck.